Hey guys, John MATLabs here. Do you sometimes find your 3D printer kind of tedious and time consuming to use? Now, to use mine, this is an Ender 3 by the way, you take out the SD card, you go to your computer, which for most people is in a different room, you install the right print files, you run all the way back here to your printer, plug in your SD card, print your thing, only to realize that it's the wrong file, run all the way back to your computer, install the right one, run all the way back here, print your thing, and then you realize that you need to print 5 more things and you're already tired of running. Now I find that a big problem. So in today's video, I'm going to show you how to transform a Raspberry Pi into an Octopi, which can control your 3D printer all the way from your computer. So let's get started. Now first you want to take your Raspberry Pi and a 3D printed case, links in the description, and pop the Raspberry Pi into the bottom half. Next you want to take these screws right here and use those to attach the Raspberry Pi to the bottom half. This part is pretty challenging because there are no threads for the screws to go into, which means that you'll have to use a lot of force to persuade the screws to go all the way in. Next you want to take the top half and set it on top of the bottom half, and attach it to the bottom half using these screws right here. This next step is totally optional, but if you want to slightly cool your Raspberry Pi with the hopes of better performance, I recommend adding a USB fan with a 3D printed fan protector on top. Just hot glue the fan protector onto the fan, and hot glue the fan onto the Raspberry Pi. Now the first thing you want to do is install Balena Etcher. Balena Etcher will allow you to etch the Octopi program onto your Raspberry Pi. Now all you want to do is find the latest release and click download for Windows if you're on a Windows device, and download for Mac if you're on an Apple device. But this tutorial will be harder to follow if you're on an Apple device. Now you want to wait for it to download and then click on it and install it. It'll pop up with this window, just click I agree and wait for it to finish installing. Next thing you want to do is install Octopi from this website right here. All you need to do is click download Octopi for the latest version and wait for it to install, which takes about 2 or 3 minutes. Now once it's done installing, go to your downloads folder in File Explorer and right click on the Octopi firmware and click extract. Next, you want to open Balena Etcher and then select your SD card from the options, make sure it's the right one, and then select the extracted Octopi firmware and then click flash. Now a lot of the time you'll see this error right here, and at the bottom it'll say user did not grant permission, even though there's no permissions to give. But this has a really obvious solution. All you need to do is close Etcher and then open it again, but run it as administrator. And once you do that, you want to repeat the exact same steps again. And as you can see, this time it works perfectly fine. Okay, now once you've finished etching, you want to go to your File Explorer, open your SD card, and then scroll down until you see Octopi WPA Supplicant, which is how you set your Wi-Fi and your region. all you need to do is click Open With, Notepad if you're on Windows, and Text Edit if you're on Mac. Now the reason you want to do this is because you don't want any fonts or word formatting, you just want plain text. Now you just need to scroll down to WPA and WPA Secured if that's the way you use your Wi-Fi. You could do Open or Unsecured, and you can do WEP, but most people's Wi-Fi nowadays are WPA and WPA2. Okay, so where it says SSID, you want to take the text from the quotations and delete it and put your Wi-Fi name there. For example, if your Wi-Fi is called John's Pizza Parlor and 3D Print Shop, you would put that there. And then you would put your password right here. Now make sure that you enter every number and letter correctly, and make sure that you put all the capitals and lower cases in the right places. And then you want to delete all 4 of these hashtags here, 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 and here. Now scroll down to where it says all the country names, and if you don't live in the UK, just put a hashtag there, and delete the hashtag in front of where you actually live. And then click File, Save, exit out, right-click on Boot, and then click Eject, and you're done with all the firmware. Okay, so this next part is pretty complicated, but it's actually pretty fun. So first you want to plug in your Raspberry Pi using a properly rated power adapter. Wait for it to boot up. Gotta unplug the fan for now. And then you want to go into PuTTY. Boom. Then what you want to do is type octopi.local. Then you want to wait for the Pi to boot up properly so you can hack into your Raspberry Pi. Let's try this. There we go. And the first time you do this, it's going to pop up with an error saying that it's not keyed in the registry. You just press yes, and then you just type in Pi, because that's the default username, and the password is raspberry. And then once you're logged in, you just type in sudo space raspi-config. Press enter. You need to enter the password again. Raspberry. And there we go. And now what you want to do is click change password, because the default password is not really secure. You will now be asked to enter a new password for the Pi. Okay. So okay, and once you're done changing the password, you just press the arrow key down, and then right, and then enter. If you don't have arrow keys, I'm pretty sure your keyboard will have some sort of shortcut for doing this. Just enter for finish, and then you're done. And you can just close this out. Okay. And you can be rest assured knowing that your Pi is now secured with your own password and nobody can just hack into it. Okay, so once you're done hacking into your Raspberry Pi and changing the password, you can take your Raspberry Pi and take it over to your 3D printer. Now that we're in the 3D printer room, I feel like it's a good time to talk about why I've been gone for 4 weeks. Now, as you can see, this does not have the stock Bowden tube and extruder as a normal 3D printer, and that's because I upgraded it. because this thing would not work with stock parts. So I've been kind of troubleshooting and testing this thing in the 4 weeks that I've been gone. Okay, so moving right along, you're gonna need a power adapter for your Raspberry Pi. It's recommended that you use a 2.5 amp, 5.1 volt power adapter to have maximum performance from your Raspberry Pi. And the best way you can find those is by buying a power adapter from like Target or something that comes in a Raspberry Pi kit. And then you just want to find a cord that can plug into your 3D printer. It should have a little port like that there, and that's for controlling it using Octopi or AstroPrint or something like that. And then you want to plug that into your Raspberry Pi. Now you want to power on your 3D printer and then plug in your Raspberry Pi. Wait for everything to boot up, and only then plug in your fan so it doesn't sound like I don't even know how to explain it. It sounds terrible. Okay, now once you're done with that and you come back to your computer, you're going to want to open your browser and do the most fun part. Type http://octopi.local and then wait for that to load in. And then do all these steps. So you're gonna need the username and password for your account and the printer profile and stuff like that. And once you're done with that, you're ready to print. So after you're done setting up your printer, just click connect and wait for it to say operational. And then after that, you can just upload your G-code files. I'm gonna test it out with this Benchy right here. And when your G-code uploads, you can click on this print icon right here to start the print. Now, Octopi is pretty cool because you can look at the G-code layer by layer. Like you can click next layer to scroll through all the layers, and you can use the scroll bar up top. And if you want to see your print printing in real time, you can click sync with job progress to do so. And you can also view the temperature and a webcam stream if you connect a webcam. But I didn't do that, and I'm not going to show you how to do that because I don't need a webcam, and it's a pretty complicated process. But I will leave a few links in the description to how to do that. And the Benchy's done. It turned out pretty good, and there were no glitches or losses of connection, so I would say Octopi works pretty good. So if you want to try this out yourself, go to the link in the description. Actually, there's several of everything I do in this video, and you can easily follow along this tutorial to try it out yourself. And guys, thank you for watching this entire video. Make sure to leave a like if you like this video, and subscribe to my channel to see more. And with that said, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.